What really happens when a man falls deeply for a woman who is older than him? There are countless signals, small behaviors, subtle patterns. But you want to know the one clue that never lies. It's the way he talks. His words, especially the relaxed ones he says without planning, are often the most honest reveal of what he's feeling, especially when a younger man is attaching himself emotionally to a woman with more years and more experience. Today, I'm going to show you the exact 11 types of phrases a man uses when his heart slowly starts drifting toward hers, sometimes before he even understands it himself. Because when a man begins to feel something real, something serious, something that shakes him a little, his walls begin to soften, his emotional guard lowers, and the things that slip out of his mouth show everything. Stay with me until the end because these are not the typical romantic lines you expect to hear. They're usually so simple, so casual, so disguised that most women ignore them without realizing how meaningful they actually are. But if you listen carefully, these tiny phrases reveal the real truth his actions may not yet be bold enough to show. And here's where it becomes confusing. Many older women who find themselves getting close to younger men end up feeling unsure or emotionally torn. Why does this happen? Because the way men express emotional attachment is completely different from the way women do. And when there's an age difference involved, especially when the woman is the older one, the uncertainty becomes even stronger. You start doubting your own instincts. You wonder, was that compliment real? Was he being charming or just naturally friendly? Am I reading too much into his tone? You replay the conversations in your head, trying to figure out if he meant something deeper or if you're imagining it. Scientific studies back up this emotional mismatch. Research published in the Journal of Social Psychology shows that women tend to express love, affection, and vulnerability more directly through emotional language and warm behavior. Men, on the other hand, often express their feelings in indirect, subtle, half-conscious ways, especially when they're not sure if their emotions will be accepted or taken seriously. Most men don't come out and say what they feel. Instead, they speak through patterns, tone shifts, small comments, and unintentional hints, and often they don't even notice they're doing it. So it's no surprise that older women in these connections often feel like they're walking in the dark. You might tell yourself, he probably says that to everyone, or he's just being polite, or worse, I'm imagining things. But I'm going to tell you something very important. When a man is genuinely falling for an older woman, it is nearly impossible for him to hide it completely. His subconscious betrays him. His words betray him. The way he talks around you becomes more than ordinary conversation. It becomes a quiet doorway into how he truly feels. That's why recognizing these verbal clues matters. Once you know what to listen for, you stop doubting yourself. You stop wasting energy overthinking every detail. You stop wondering whether he's interested or just enjoying attention. Understanding these signs can be the difference between walking away from a man who was falling deeply for you or staying in a connection that was never going to grow. There's another important detail. In a study from 2019 by Elite Singles, over 60% of men admitted that at some point in their life, they developed strong emotional feelings for a woman older than them. Think about that. These men didn't just have a simple crush, they felt real attachment. But here's the twist. Most of them never said anything. They never confessed it. They kept it hidden. When asked why, they all gave similar reasons. Fear of being dismissed. Fear of rejection, fear that the older woman wouldn't take them seriously. Social expectations, personal insecurity, and internal doubt all played a role. So instead of saying how they felt directly, they expressed it in tiny ways, through little comments, quiet moments, and unguarded words that slipped out when they relaxed and let their guard fall. And that's where you come in. If you know how to recognize these moments, if you can hear the phrases he says when he's emotionally open, you'll know exactly what's going on inside him. No guessing, no assumptions, just clarity. Men do hide their emotions, yes, but their words eventually leak the truth through the cracks. Now let's look at what some of these phrases sound like when a younger man is falling for an older woman. These aren't the dramatic lines like, "I love you," or "I can't stop thinking about you." No, these are far more subtle, more honest, because they show up when he isn't trying to impress you. They show up when he's just being himself. One of the biggest phrases is, "I feel safe with you." Men don't use the word safe loosely. For a man to say this, especially to a woman, it carries deep meaning. It means he is not afraid of being judged around you. He doesn't feel pressure to act tough or pretend he's something he's not. You are not just someone he likes. You are someone who calms him, someone who sees him, someone who accepts him exactly as he is. And that is incredibly rare. In a world where men are constantly told to toughen up, be strong, never show weakness, and never reveal emotions, feeling emotionally safe is a shock to the system. If he says being with you feels peaceful, grounding, or calming, that is his nervous system responding to you. That is his inner world settling down in a way it rarely does. And while he may not say, "I'm falling for you," this is exactly what he means in the way men communicate. He trusts you. He feels something sacred in your presence, in your confidence, in your maturity. And in that emotional comfort, love begins to grow quietly. Other phrases follow naturally. He may say, "You understand me," or "I can talk to you about anything." He may say, "I don't have to pretend around you," or "You're different from anyone I've ever met." He might tell you, "Talking to you always makes me feel better," or "I wish everyone had your way of thinking." These aren't empty compliments. These are confessions hidden inside casual lines, emotional truths wrapped in everyday words. They appear when he's relaxed, when he's comfortable, when he's not trying too hard. And those are the moments that reveal everything. Because when a man speaks without effort, when his guard is down, that is when he shows his heart. Here's something else many women don't realize. When a younger man starts forming a real emotional connection with an older woman, he's often surprised by his own feelings. He may not expect it at first. He may tell himself it's just attraction or just fun. But then something changes. He catches himself thinking about you when he's alone. He misses your voice. He wants your advice, your opinion, your presence. Your laugh stays in his mind longer than he expected. And slowly, the light spark he felt turns into something heavier, something warm, something that sits right in the middle of his chest. A quiet longing, a soft attachment. And he doesn't know how to describe it until the words slip out accidentally. He may say, "I've never told anyone that before," or "I don't know why I'm telling you this." Those comments show he's opening emotional doors he usually keeps locked. He may share stories from his childhood, wounds he's never talked about, dreams he has never spoken out loud. That doesn't happen by chance. It happens because your presence feels safe. Your maturity gives him space. Your energy invites truth. Your calmness doesn't judge or rush him. And men never forget that. It creates a bond that stays with them. So next time he says something that feels deeper than it sounds, listen. When his tone softens, when he shares something vulnerable, when his compliments are about who you are, not just how you look, those are the moments where his real feelings speak. You don't need him to confess love like a movie script. You just need to hear him when he speaks without thinking, because that's when the truth comes out. And when a younger man starts to fall for an older woman, he may not shout it loudly, but if you listen carefully, you'll hear it in the whispers, in the accidental words, in the gentle phrases he didn't mean to reveal. Older women, according to research discussed in psychology today, naturally offer a sense of emotional security that many younger partners struggle to provide. Their life experience, emotional maturity, and stable presence create a kind of comfort that men find deeply grounding. If he says something that hints at this, even if he laughs it off, it's rarely a joke. It usually means his heart is already leaning toward you in ways he hasn't fully admitted to himself. So when a man says, "You get me like no one else does," it's never just flattery, it's an acknowledgement. It means you've shifted from a surface connection to something deeper, something emotional. It means you see him in a way he isn't used to being seen. And that kind of statement carries weight far beyond the words themselves. reveals you're no longer just a part of his life. You've become a steady emotional anchor, and here's why that matters so much. Emotional closeness lasts far longer than physical attraction. Physical chemistry might ignite interest, but emotional connection is what truly keeps it alive. When he says, "You get me," it means you've become a mirror, reflecting his inner world without judgment. That is rare and powerful. Then there's the line, "I can't imagine my life without you." It may sound poetic, but pay attention to the word now. That one word carries a lot of meaning. It shows a transformation. Your presence has subtly become part of his everyday life. Quietly, without being obvious, you are no longer an option or afterthought. You are woven into his daily rhythm. Whether it's morning coffee, late night chats, or simply the comfort of knowing you're there, you have become part of his internal world. Relationship expert Dr. Jen Mann explains that when someone begins including another person in their future plans, it shows a deep emotional bond. So when a man says this, it's more than romance, it's acknowledgement. He's mentally and emotionally placing you into his vision of what's to come, even if he doesn't realize he's doing it. Another sign is when he says, "You make me want to be better." Don't ignore this. Men rarely feel motivated to change through pressure, but they evolve when they feel emotionally safe, respected, and admired. Older women often carry this energy. They challenge without criticizing, support without controlling, and inspire without needing authority. If a man feels encouraged to grow just because you exist, that is a clear sign of your emotional influence. A study from the University of Wisconsin found that men in relationships with older women reported higher motivation for personal growth than those dating younger women. When he says this, he's acknowledging not only your presence, but also the way he's becoming a better version of himself because of you. Then there's the statement, "I told my mum about you." At first, it may sound casual, but it's far from it. Men don't casually talk about just anyone to their family. If he mentions you to his mother or siblings, it means you matter. You've crossed from private into public in his life. You've become someone he wants his inner circle to know and eventually accept. This doesn't always mean a formal introduction right away, but it does signal significance. A 2020 Match.com survey found that over 76% of men felt a stronger emotional bond with women they had introduced to their families. His mention of you is symbolic. It shows he's integrating you into the structure of his emotional life. Next comes the vulnerable phrase, "You're the only person I can talk to about this." When a man shares his fears, failures, or hidden doubts, he's entrusting you with something sacred, his emotional truth. This is never done lightly. Men are often taught to keep emotions in check and manage problems internally. So when he opens up, it isn't weakness, it's trust. In that moment, you're not just someone he dates. You are his emotional refuge. This openness shows emotional exclusivity, creating a connection stronger than physical attraction alone. It means you are not an option. You are the person he turns to when the world becomes heavy. Another statement to notice is, "I don't care what people think." If he says this about your relationship, especially when there's an age difference or an unusual dynamic, it's revealing. It means he values your connection more than social expectations. Men often grow up concerned about appearances and fitting in, but when he prioritizes your bond over public opinion, it shows depth and courage. A 2021 eHarmony report found that couples with noticeable age differences who were emotionally connected were more resilient to outside judgment. So when he dismisses criticism or whispers it doesn't matter, he's really saying, you are worth it, not just privately, but publicly too. One of the most revealing things a man can say is, "I've never felt this way before." It may sound like a line from a movie, but if said sincerely, it reveals your impact. Your presence has stirred feelings in him that he didn't expect, emotions that challenge his old patterns. Often, older women have a calm, magnetic presence that feels grounding, intimate, and deeply feminine, rare qualities in a world full of pretense. When he says this, it means you've reached a part of his heart he thought was closed. These statements may seem casual or even cliché, but listen carefully. Men often express feelings subtly, showing more than speaking. When they do speak from the heart, their words are meaningful. If he says these things, even with humor or in fragments, it shows something deeper is happening. You are not just someone he enjoys. You are becoming an emotional anchor. That type of bond isn't easily broken. He may not always express himself clearly or understand the depth of his own feelings, but when he feels emotionally safe, respected, and truly understood, he opens up in ways that surprise even him. A mature, emotionally intelligent woman often creates the conditions for that openness, not by demanding it, but through her energy. She listens without judgment, encourages without control, and stays grounded in self-worth. If he says things like this, don't dismiss them. They are clues that he is falling, feeling, and connecting on a level most men reserve for only one woman, the one who doesn't just make his heart race but makes his soul feel recognized. Yes, it's a classic line, but when sincere, it carries weight. Most men aren't naturally expressive, especially when deeply invested. They show their emotions through actions more than words. So when a man says something heartfelt, it's rarely casual. He genuinely feels something profound, and he's signaling that this connection isn't temporary. It's meaningful and grounded. When he says, "I wish we'd met sooner," it's not about age or lost youth. It's about time. He feels time was incomplete without you. That statement carries quiet longing, showing that your presence now feels essential. His heart is engaged and anchored. Then there's, "I can be myself around you." Simple words, but profound. He's saying he doesn't have to perform, he doesn't feel judged, and he can drop the mask of strength. For men taught to suppress vulnerability, this comfort is rare. If he says this, it shows trust and emotional closeness. He feels accepted, understood, and that is priceless. Clinical psychologist Dr. John Gottman's research shows emotional authenticity, being able to show your true self, predicts long-term relationship satisfaction. So when he feels free to be himself around you, it's relational gold. Finally, the most powerful phrase, "You've changed me." This goes beyond superficial habits or style. It reflects true transformation. When a man tells a woman, especially one grounded in wisdom and life experience, that she has changed him, it's about growth on a deep emotional level. He is not just noticing the way she looks or acts. He's recognizing how her presence has altered the way he feels, thinks, and experiences the world. It's about seeing life differently, becoming more open, compassionate, and connected. That level of impact is profound. Every statement, from subtle remarks to heartfelt confessions, signals a man's emotional investment. It shows that your presence is not fleeting, it's becoming foundational. Emotional connection with an older, grounded, and self-aware woman can awaken depths in a man he may never have explored before. You are more than a partner. You are a source of inspiration, trust, and emotional growth. When he expresses these feelings, even in small ways, he's showing that you are irreplaceable, that you matter more than fleeting attraction or passing infatuation. He is anchoring his heart and soul to you, and that is rare, powerful, and transformative in a way that lasts a lifetime. When a man tells you that you have changed him, what he's really expressing is something much deeper than a simple compliment. What he means is that something inside him has shifted in a way he didn't expect. It isn't a quick spark of attraction or a wave of desire that fades after a moment. It's something more powerful, something that touches the deeper layers of who he is. It's growth, it's internal movement, it's emotional evolution. It's the kind of change that doesn't vanish after a few days or get washed away by small arguments or passing moods. Suddenly, he notices that the world looks a bit different. Colors feel slightly brighter, conversations feel more meaningful, and moments he once ignored become moments he pays attention to. He sees himself with a little more clarity, almost like someone wiped away the dust from a mirror he didn't even realize was dirty. He loves in a fuller way. He listens with more intention. He shows up in ways he didn't before. And the truth is, that kind of shift doesn't disappear. It remains. It lingers in his mind and in his heart long after the moment passes. Most people don't understand this type of emotional impact because it's not something that happens every day. It's not casual and it's not common. It's rare. And when a man feels something rare, something that moves him on a deeper level, he remembers it. Maybe not for a month or a year, but for a very long time, sometimes for the rest of his life. There are people we forget, moments we forget, but then there are those feelings that carve themselves into us and never leave. And that's the kind of influence you've had on him. It wasn't just about falling in love. It wasn't just about romance. It wasn't only about attraction or chemistry or the way he felt when he first saw you. No, it was about the way you pushed him to evolve, the way you made him see sides of himself he had ignored, the way you encouraged him, inspired him, challenged him, softened him, strengthened him, all at the same time. And that kind of transformation begins quietly, but it grows steadily. And in his case, it started with you. So, let's bring the focus back to the heart of all of this by revisiting the 11 powerful phrases. These phrases say more about a man's true feelings than any dramatic declaration ever could. Each one reveals a piece of his emotional world. Each one opens a window into what he feels, but might not say directly. First, I feel safe with you. Second, you understand me in a way no one else does. Third, I cannot picture my life without you now. Fourth, you make me want to improve myself. Fifth, I talk about you with my mom. Sixth, you are the only person I can share this with. Seventh, I really don't care about other people's opinions. Eighth, I have never experienced these feelings before. Ninth, I wish we had crossed paths earlier. 10th, I can be my real self around you. 11th, you have changed me. Each of these phrases carries its own emotional signature. They are not lines crafted to impress you. They are not cute words he rehearsed in his head. They are confessions spoken from a place of truth. They reveal softness, fear, sincerity, and longing all in one breath. They carry a quiet form of emotional intimacy that tells you exactly where he stands, even when he doesn't spell everything out clearly. What makes these words powerful is not simply the words themselves, but what they stand for. They show that the connection between you and him has shifted away from something light or temporary and has grown into something richer, deeper, steadier. These words reflect how your presence touches his life in ways that change him. Because when a man says he feels safe with you, what he's really saying is that he can finally take off the emotional armor he's been carrying for years. And when he says you changed him, he's telling you that your presence didn't just walk into his life, it shaped it. You left an imprint that he can't forget. A lot of people miss this part. They assume men express their emotions the same way women do. But most men don't. They don't always write long messages. They don't always speak openly about their feelings. They don't always explain what's happening inside them. But when they say these specific phrases, these deeply revealing statements, it's their way of expressing something huge. It's their way of showing that you matter to them in ways they don't always know how to articulate. And when men say words like these, they're not saying them casually. They're saying them because their heart is involved. That's why, if you've heard even one of these lines from a man, don't ignore it. Don't treat it like it's just another sweet moment. Don't assume he is just being polite or charming. Really pay attention, because his truth is hidden in those small sentences. His emotional investment shows up not through big gestures, but through these gentle admissions of how he truly feels. Most of the time, these words escape him when he's not thinking too much, when he's relaxed, when he's being honest, when he's feeling safe. That's when they slip out naturally, and that's when they hold the most meaning. Because love doesn't always announce itself with fireworks. Sometimes it reveals itself in these quiet, unexpected moments when he lets a piece of his heart show without realizing it. And now, if anything in this message feels familiar to you, if you've ever heard one of these phrases in a soft moment or in the middle of a normal day, I'd love to know which one it was. Maybe he told you that you changed him. Maybe he said he wished you had met earlier. Maybe it was something more subtle, like telling you you're the only person he can talk to about something real. Whatever it was, your story matters. Share it. Tell me which words touched you or stayed with you. If this gave you a clearer understanding of how men express emotional connection, especially toward a woman who carries depth, strength, and maturity, then go ahead and like this video. Subscribe if you want more honest, unfiltered conversations about love, emotions, and human behavior. Thank you for being here. You deserve a kind of love that isn't just passionate but purposeful, not just exciting but stable, not just loud but meaningful. So until we meet again, take care of yourself, stay aware, stay open-hearted, and always remember that love may not always follow a simple or predictable pattern, but it always leaves a trail of subtle clues, clues that reveal how someone truly feels. All you have to do is pay attention, listen closely, and trust what those small moments tell you. See you soon.